Hello?
I was just ignoring you. I could hear you.
Right, I've started my
just
test
decided
recording.
not to respond.
So the free...
Oh no, my test recording is not currently working for some reason.
Oh, you don't see any?
It's recording, but the audio isn't coming through.
Oh.
Right, let's have a look. Okay, speak now.
Oh, sorry, I was just ignoring you. Is that coming through?
Yeah, that's coming through.
Sweet.
Dickhead. Hello and welcome to the final episode of the Scrambled Checksum podcast before we launch our long and lengthy legal process. We will be suing Marquez Brownlee from MKBHD, but also I can't remember who it was. Was it the Verge or the Wired?
It was Wired.
Wired, yes, and the Verge, because why not? Screw those guys, I guess. And a number of other tech publications for stealing our take, possibly before we even managed to record or publish it or form it in our brains. But that's not the point. We are going to win this, make lots of money, waste it all on a fruitless marketing campaign to try and get people to listen to our podcast, and end up straight back where we started. My name is Ethan, and I am joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Kieran. How are you?
I'm ready for the legal fight, honestly. I'm ready for we've got deep pockets, as you can tell from the production values of these videos.
Yeah.
So we're well prepared for a lengthy legal battle, of which I'm sure will come out on top. And
100%.
I'm looking... I may as well already start the YouTube ad campaigns for our podcast with the money that we're sure to make from people, stealing our takes. You see it time and time again, don't you, on YouTube? The small creator.
It's just another case.
Just another case.
Little guy being beaten on by the big guys.
The little guy makes a take that perhaps a lot of other people in the tech space share.
And
then
gets none of the credit.
And then 3 weeks later, Marquez is talking about what a good take it was, but crediting it, unfortunately, to Wired's podcast.
Yeah. Maybe he was listening to our podcast and he just forgot, because it was so great. He was like, this couldn't possibly be these two losers.
He mistook us for Wired, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
He was
because our production value is so good.
Yeah, he was like, this is pretty slick. This has got to be like a Verge or Wired production.
I mean, those laptops, CG laptops look so realistic.
Yeah, let's not drag Marquez into this. Actually, we've made enough enemies in tech YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, who are we gonna watch? We were saying last week that we're watching Marquez now instead of LTT. Who are we gonna watch if we cancel Marquez?
Yeah, let's not blame Marquez. He was a victim here, if anything, just like us.
Yeah.
Let's backtrack that. Let's backpedal that one.
Sorry,
a bit.
Marquez.
Sorry, Marquez. Please don't.
Yeah, everyone disregard the first minute or so of this podcast.
That was satire.
It was a misstep.
It was satire.
We're deeply sorry for any offence that we may have caused. If you're upset, please file it with our legal team.
Yeah, which we'll still be pursuing with basically the origin of this bit is that Marquez said that he agreed that AI is either a product or a feature. And in most cases, these products that have come out, like the Rabbit and the Humane Pin, are features and shouldn't really exist as products, which is exactly the same as our take from a podcast that we uploaded a few weeks ago. So that was very validating to me. I don't know about you.
Yes, yeah. I think basically we're fully fledged tech journalists now.
I think pretty much we're going to be breaking the next big tech story. It's just a matter of time, really.
You never know. We could.
We could stumble across Cambridge Analytica 2.0.
Yeah, but no one would see it.
So. No one would see it. So
we don't cover it, and no one would even bother taking any kind of legal action against us for unveiling their deepest, darkest secrets, because no one would even have known that we'd done it.
If you work high up in a big tech company, and you would like to clear your conscience by anonymously whistleblowing internal secrets or scandals or unethical practices, we will happily give them a mouthpiece which will not be seen by anyone, so your job will be safe.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of spending lots and lots of money on a poster campaign and only putting the posters at the North and South Pole.
Yeah, or like when a company has to legally publish something that's like a correction in the paper, and they put it really small. So if you have a correction you need to put out there,
Please send
hit
it
us
our
up.
way. Yeah, we'll
Send it our way.
corrections at scrambledchecksum.com.
Yep. Also, we'll happily again clear your conscience. We'll say, hey, you can't be held responsible for potentially unethical business practices because you told us, you whistle blew.
Yeah, you whistle blew yourself.
Yeah.
Yikes.
if you want a quiet blowing of a whistle.
Speaking of quiet blowings of whistles, something completely unrelated. I have another project on the go. I'm starting yet another project before I finished the other projects because
It's the best way.
Because I can't focus on one thing.
Is it a whistleblowing machine?
It's not, but it is a product from a company that I have hated on in the past, and it's not Apple.
A product? Can I guess what company it is?
You can, yeah.
See, have you bought the product? Or did you already own the product?
I bought the product.
Is it a Samsung product?
It is not, actually, no.
Oh, dang. Ethan here, number one Samsung hater, by the way, if you're not aware. I'm trying to think of any other companies you've hated. Can you... Is it...
They're not traditionally a hardware company.
Interesting. So, not a hardware company. More of a... I'm not going to get it.
Seriously?
What, is it like a Microsoft product?
Close.
Is it... Who is it then?
Come on, you can do this.
Like, I can't... So, not mainly a hardware company.
It's a hardware product from a company that isn't really a hardware company.
But there's so many of them. That's like everyone...
So much so that they didn't... I don't think they've actually ever manufactured... Oh, no, until recently, they didn't manufacture any of them themselves, despite them all being branded by this company.
Is it Razer?
No. I thought... Do they not make their own stuff? I guess it makes
sense. I don't know. I assume
don't.
that maybe they didn't. I've heard the quality isn't amazing for the price.
I'm not going to buy something from Razer, Kieran. I'm not insane.
I thought you were a gamer.
It's not that I'm against it because it's a bad product. It's more just the company.
And the product.
Nah, well, the software has some... I'm going to have to
just tell me. I'm not going to get it. Who is it?
Okay. I'll... Hang on. Let me... Oh, I forgot that. Can you see my webcam? Ooh.
I'm not on the right window, but I can't think who this could be.
I'm going to show you the front because it will be less obvious from the front.
Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at an oblong. It's clearly it's some kind of a phone. Dude, all phones look the same now. How am I supposed to tell what phone that is? Is it OnePlus? It's not OnePlus, is it? No. Oh, there they are. He's bought a Pixel.
Yes, but not just any Pixel. Guess how much I paid for this? It's a Google Pixel 6 Pro.
Pixel 6 Pro. I'm going to guess you bought it from CEX.
I did not.
Did not? eBay?
I did not.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so I wouldn't have guessed Google, by the way, as your hardware one.
Well, they're not a hardware company, are they?
Well, no, but like I thought, didn't they make the Pixel 1 ages ago, or was that like...
Yeah, but they didn't make it. HTC made it, I think.
Is that why they made such a song and dance of it being like the first phone? No, because they say engineered by Google.
Engineered by Google. It's not made by
not
Google.
Built.
I think they are built. I think they are built now by like a Foxconn or something now, not like a HTC who probably
they're built by Google, but not with pride.
Yeah. This is really interesting.
So how much do you pay for a Pixel 6? God, which one are they on now? I remember seeing ads.
8.
Yeah, for the Pixel 8, I assume that's the latest
This came
one.
out in 2022.
I'm going to guess you paid... Is it the Pro?
Yeah, 6 Pro.
So the flagship one, effectively.
Yes.
2-year-old. How much storage?
It's the base tier, which is 128.
I am going to guess... what condition? Is it like... It looked pretty good?
No cheating.
Oh, I can't guess the condition. It looked pretty good. I am going to guess... 250?
50.
50?
And that's because you've clearly missed something quite quite problematically wrong with it.
What's wrong with it?
Can you see it?
I stopped looking at it. I just looked at it for the shape. Oh. Yeah, so for the viewers out there, there's a big white line right across the top of the
and
screen.
there's also a massive crack there, and the screen black mark.
Yeah.
And also, so you know how I was going on about the material hue color not changing?
Yes.
It turns out it was changing. It's just there's a green tint across the entire screen.
Okay, so that screen is
Dickhead.
probably on its way out.
Yeah, but it was 50 quid.
That is insanely cheap. Has it gotten worse since you've had it?
I don't know, because I bought it and then I haven't done anything with it because I've been looking for parts.
Ah, you planning to do a screen replacement?
Yes.
Oh, is that your secret project?
It is. Yeah. It also needs a new
difficult is
charge
it?
port. Yes.
Oh, what's wrong with the charge port?
It doesn't work properly.
As in, like, it doesn't charge or it's just loose?
It does charge, but you can't get the charge to go in all the way, and as far as I can tell, there's no debris in it, so I can't really figure out why. So
Have you tried, like, really, like, digging in there?
yes.
Oh. Because I was going to say my phone went like that for a while, and it was literally just stuff had been really heavily connected.
But the charge
I'm
port,
guessing...
at least, is only about, you can get them for about £5.
And yeah, that's not too bad. It's just like getting in there to swap it right.
Yeah. Which I'm going to have to do anyway because I've got to replace the screen.
Yeah, and it definitely isn't just something compacted right up in there.
Well, it might be, but
because mine was like it felt like it was broken.
But I've been scraping in there with a really thin tool.
Oh, okay, it's probably not then. Yeah, that did clear it out for me.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I bought the world's cheapest Google Pixel 6 Pro.
Don't look that up.
Yeah, don't look that up. And
the world's cheapest that boots.
Yeah, I am slightly sketched by something the guy said to me. It was so when I went to collect it. Yeah, obviously I liaised with the guy on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah,
and he kind of did the thing I do. Basically, he didn't give me his address until like the day, and that he gave me the postcode, and then when I was getting close, he told me where to meet him.
Assumed that you were like a murderer.
So which is what I do when people are coming to buy something off me. And but then obviously it was pissing it down with rain. Met him in this car park of a small convenience store.
Oh God!
And because it was pissing it down with rain, it felt rude not to invite him into my car. So,
then you got mugged,
which he just happily did, which could have gone badly for either of us, depending on your perspective.
That could have been a bad move for both of you,
but it didn't, thankfully. So he gave me the Pixel. I kind of checked over it a bit. The cameras are my God, the cameras are good. Like I've never actually played around with a Pixel before.
Is that the one that's still got Magic Eraser?
Yeah, they all have Magic Eraser. I think all the ones that currently get software updates. They've even brought it to non-pixels now, I think.
Oh, okay.
Free. But yeah, it's like the night vision on it. Fucking hell, it's good.
I had heard that they were really good cameras on those on the newer Pixels.
It's all just like in software though.
Yeah, it's insane what they can do, right?
It's absolutely bonkers. Like I took a picture like under my desk at night, and then I looked at the picture and it looked like it was taken in broad daylight. It's like, how the fuck did they do this? And I wasn't even like holding my hand steady or anything. Like it's actually bonkers.
It's like I've got a Pixel 2, and if I took that shot, I guarantee it would just be pitch black.
Yeah.
Even with like night sight.
Yeah. It's got an actual telephoto lens as well. That's like
cool.
Yeah. So it's got wide. Yeah. It's a nice piece of hardware. So, my reasons for buying this very quickly. One, I was just looking for a phone. I want to start teaching myself how to do some repairs on phones and stuff, and with a view to potentially starting to do it as a bit of a side hustle.
Lewis Rossman 2.0.
Yeah, BTEC Lewis Rossman over here.
Yeah, UK's Lewis Rossman.
And the other part of it, I've been looking for a Pixel because I wanted something. I was actually originally looking for a Pixel 6a, but then I saw this and it was 50 quid, and I was like, well,
the screen's usable.
Yeah, so I could at the very least use it to put Graphene OS on and test it like as a test device. I can still use it for that.
Yeah.
Occasionally, according to the guy I bought it off, the top like third of the screen stops working altogether, but that is yet to happen to me.
Oh, like some just randomly.
Yeah. So yeah, I figured like worst case scenario, I just have a 50 quid Pixel that I can use for testing Graphene OS to see whether I actually want to buy a Pixel to run it as my main, daily OS.
Yeah, exactly. Did he say what happened to it?
Presumably he dropped it on something.
I was going to say it's not like liquid damage.
Oh no, it's like cracked. Like
it's physical damage, not he's not spilled something on it and that's happened.
Yeah, it's like it's one of the. It's the only generation, I think, of Pixel where they had the curved over the edge screen, like Samsung style.
Oh, I don't like that, to be fair.
Yeah, which does make them very vulnerable to side drops, which I imagine is probably what's happened, looking at where the crack starts.
And that looks like a drop that bad. That's got to have been onto like a hard surface. That probably would have done it even if it hadn't have had the curved thing. But yeah, it's a point of weakness, isn't it?
Yeah, but the back glass isn't shattered. Which is really common. A lot of second-hand Pixels that I was looking at have shattered back glass.
How difficult is the repair?
From what I've heard, it's pretty easy.
And how expensive is the part?
That's the sticking point.
Oh.
So this is where we get into some of the nerdy... So I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Not a rabbit
It's
AI
not like the
hole.
Apple... Definitely not that hole. What's the it's not got any of the Apple bollocks, right, where they're serialized or you have to...
No. So Google actually has an official partnership with iFixit.
Oh, cool.
So you can actually buy the part first party from iFixit.
I had no idea that existed. That's really cool. Why do they not talk about that in the ads? I guess their customers that they're going for probably mostly don't care.
Probably. I guess it's not. People don't know that they should care about it, I think.
Yeah, it's like, why do they not talk about that instead of talking about the first phone engineered by Google? It's like no one cares about it being engineered by Google.
Engineered by
a software company.
Yeah, by your malicious overlords. I mean, benevolent overlords. Sorry.
It's like if you said like the first phone engineered by Facebook, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's going to be good.
Oh, do you remember Facebook phones?
Yeah, I do.
They were great, right?
I don't know who engineered them.
Everybody loved them.
Yeah.
Everybody loved them. That's why they were such a raving success, right?
Exactly, right?
Do you want to have a guess at how expensive the or cheap? Sorry, I kind of gave the game away there. But
how much
Google
the screen
Pixel
is?
6 Pro genuine screen is?
I don't know, £100.
So if I'd been going for the 6A, well, I was originally looking for the 6A, you'd be pretty much bang on, $97.99.
Oh dear.
That's a 1080p display. The Pixel 6, which is a slightly larger 1080p display, pardon me, which you would have thought actually should be technically cheaper because I would have thought the manufacturing cost
less pixel density,
the bigger pixel, but that's sadly doesn't seem to be how the world works. Is $127.99. So call it 130. So 100, then 130.
Yeah.
So based on that price difference, do you want to hazard a guess at how expensive the 6.7-inch 1440p AMOLED screen is? But these are all AMOLED, by the way. OLED or AMOLED, basically.
So the 1440 isn't the one you need. You need the 1080.
It is the one I need. It's a 6.
Oh, it's the one you need. 160?
But I bought it.
Oh, no, it's significantly more.
Yeah. Regrets.
Is it less than 200?
No.
What the hell? Why is it so much more expensive? Is it because the other ones aren't AMOLED?
No, it's because it's 1440p.
That can't make... There's like phones with 4K screens. How is a 1440p one so much more expensive?
There actually isn't phones with 4K screens.
There were.
I think there's one with 4K that actually is 4K. Most 4K...
But they used to be, right?
Most 4K phones technically aren't actually 4K. They're not. They're actually slightly under. Because
they're close enough. They're bigger. They're more than 1440.
Yeah.
So like they exist. So
they're also very expensive.
Oh my god. Yeah, but that's like you can understand that. Is it really that much of a jump to 1440 from 1080 that it's
probably not.
When like 4K-ish phone screens exist. Not that much of a difference, right?
Anyway,
it's not like cutting edge.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know the damage?
Yeah, I'm shocked that it's over 200.
253 in round figures.
Is that the only one
British pounds.
Is that the only one that the Pro accepts as well? Where all the Pros at least so basically they're like the phone costs more, so fuck you, you're getting a more expensive screen.
Yeah. So to put that into context, so doing a little bit of market research here. CEX, our famed, beloved secondhand tech store.
Yeah.
I actually don't know whether this is unlocked either, by the way.
Oh, the one you've bought.
Yeah. Because I figured, well, it's 50 quid, so...
Yeah, there's no,
I can't... don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
No.
You can unlock them yourself. I did have a quick check before. So, yeah, to put this into context, I can get a B grade 6 Pro from CEX, a company that's not renowned for having the most in line with the rest of the market for secondhand stuff prices.
Yeah.
In terms of they charge more generally. £255
For a B grade.
Yeah, so I could for the price of a new screen, I could basically buy the entire phone secondhand.
Oh, that's so shit. Do they have like a lower grade one that you could buy that's cheaper than the screen, and then you can just sacrifice that one to fix yours?
So yeah, basically that's the other option is I could get a third party screen, which you can get for as low as 50 quid.
Well, I was thinking if you could get like a knockoff, not a knockoff, if you could get a like really bad condition, or even potentially a not working one with a potentially good screen.
That's what I've been trying to find. But
if you can
it turns out the vast majority of broken Pixels for sale are Pixels with a broken screen.
Yeah, because it's like, what else is going to have gone wrong where someone's wanting, like, a battery is the only other thing, but like...
Which leads me to the next part of the rabbit hole.
Oh no.
Do you want to go deeper into the rabbit hole, Kieran?
Always.
Let's go deeper into the rabbit hole. So I started ecosiering, then Googling, Binging, and then back to ecosiering to look at parts suppliers for like places where you can source spare parts for mobile phones and things.
Yeah, like recyclers and stuff
this is an entirely new realm for me. Found a couple. But I couldn't seem to... I was kind of looking for some information on like, okay, well, this is cheaper, but it doesn't really give you any information on why it's cheaper other than it's a third-party part. Like, so I'm thinking, right, well, probably the sacrifices they're making, like, the concerns I have is, yeah, I'm sure it will fit. It'll be the right size. It'll be the right resolution. It'll have the right punch out for the camera, etc. Probably the compromise is color accuracy and brightness.
Maybe even dead pixels. Like
it
that
doesn't
is a
mean,
tolerance.
I feel like
I don't know. That could be a tolerance thing. They could be like, oh, we'll tolerate one dead pixel.
Fuck that. Fuck off. Anyway,
because you'd spot that immediately, and then it would piss you off forever.
Yeah. Although the pixels are so small that you might not.
Well, that's the thing. That's why they might tolerate one. They might be like, oh, well, if you find like 4 dead pixels, then we just consider that.
Like my current phone, that this pixel might replace if I can actually repair it. Is a Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, and that's got a just under 4K screen, and I can't actually get the phone close enough to my eyes before they blur to actually see individual pixels on it.
Yeah, so that's where like their manufacturing tolerances could be like, oh well, we'll ship Ethan the one with 4 dead pixels, and you'll have to deal with it.
But I'm assuming I couldn't really find anywhere that had any information on like what's this like in terms of brightness compared to the official screen, color accuracy. So that led me down a bit of a rabbit hole. I'm like, right, well, how expensive is it to buy the equipment you need to actually measure the color accuracy and brightness?
Oh my god. Isn't the ones for desktops I know for color accuracy are mega expensive?
Well, it turns out there's 2 types. So you can get a colorimeter, which is actually fairly inexpensive.
Right.
Or what was the other one? Hang on a second.
Ethan's here setting up his freaking lab. No, the lab expenses to set it all up are going to cost hundreds of thousands of pounds, but it will allow Ethan to buy the £50 phone screen, rather than spending the money on the £250 phone screen, while still being confident that he can issue his own certificate for its color gamut.
Yeah, there's a colorimeter, which is kind of a fairly good all-round one, but not very good at measuring contrast at low pixel brightnesses, basically. But basically, you can pick them up secondhand for as low as 60 or 70 quid.
Okay, but then you'd never use it again, right?
Well, I can also use it for calibrating my PC monitors.
Oh, good thinking. I assume that it like wouldn't be able to accommodate like a bigger screen.
No, it's literally. I mean, it's designed for that. So, you basically there doesn't appear to be an app that you can use with any of these devices that will run on a phone.
I was going to say, yeah. How do you then adjust it if you find what needs
There
to be
used to
adjusted?
be. There used to be, but it's been discontinued.
So how do you adjust the color?
Well, I'm not going to be able to adjust the color, but I want to be able to actually assess how good.
Oh, so you'll know that it's shit, but you won't be able to fix it.
Well, I want to actually know know how shit it is.
Okay, so you can quantifiably be like, oh, it's it performs really poorly.
So
on...
originally what I was going to do until literally just before we started recording, when I discovered that this phone has a green cast over the entire screen, was like, well, this has only got a line across it, so I'll just measure the color accuracy of this original screen. And then measure...
but now you've got no reference point.
Yeah. So that leaves me in a bit of a hole. But so I've had a topic
I think
on
what you
here
need to do is buy one brand new to act as a reference.
Well, that's... I'm actually tempted to do that for science.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, for science.
Yeah. Because
Like,
I want
just
to
get, like,
repair it anyway, and you know me, I'm not going to be happy having a part that I know is inferior on my phone. Like,
so you're gonna get
I want to
you're gonna
tell
get
myself that it doesn't matter and I don't care, but I will.
So you're going to get the new... You're either going to get a new one of the Pixel Pros or you're going to get the new part.
I'm gonna either get one that has a Pixel that has a working screen but something else is dickhead, or get the new part, and then probably also get one of these third-party ones. The most reputable one I can find for a reasonable price.
And buy the tool to test them.
And figure out whether spending the money on the extra money for the official part is worth it.
That's quite an endeavor, actually.
The reason I want to do this, though, this isn't just purely for shits and gigs.
Is it for the content?
Maybe, actually. That's a good idea. But it's...
So you'll need a camera to film that.
I actually, like I say, I've kind of got this idea that I want to set up a side hustle. Like, basically buying job lots of phones, probably specializing in specific models that I can recondition, basically, but in a way where I can I basically will do testing to kind of certify the condition of the phone.
So they get like an Ethan score.
Yeah, because there doesn't seem to be like where everywhere I've looked when I'm looking for secondhand phones or anything, mostly phones, there doesn't seem to be anywhere that will actually give any kind of accuracy on how good condition the battery is, or and things like that, or if it's been repaired, where were the parts sourced from, are they original parts, blah 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 blah. So I want to kind of see if I want to see how feasible it would be for me to actually set up a little side hustle where I actually do repair phones and provide that information as kind of like, because it's something that I want there to be in the market, and it's something that I feel like I could do. I just don't know whether I could do it profitably.
Yeah, it's like you want to be the person that's selling a phone, but like to people like you.
Yeah.
Or to people like our audience, tech savvy people who don't just buy the cheapest one, who are like, okay,
yeah, I mean, I want it to be as
secondhand.
affordable as possible.
But not just like the Facebook Marketplace, like bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I basically want that. My vision is that I'll have a phone, and I'll be like, I bought this phone for this much in this photos of the condition it arrived in and everything. So, and then it'll have a full report. There'll be a video documenting the work I've done on it. There'll be documentation on the exact part and serial numbers and everything. So you'll be able to track basically the entire repair process, see what's been done to the phone. And then you can judge whether or not you think it's worth the money based on actually having all the information in front of you, not some bullshit marketing bollocks where it's like, oh, we refurbish these phones to the highest standards, yet somehow they're still ridiculously cheaper than buying it brand new, but it's totally as good as new, don't worry about it.
Are you going to have Ethan's, you know how they always have, like, we put any phone that we sell, we put through a 120-point quality check, and it's like,
yeah, but it then doesn't detail how any of that. It's
or
going to be
what any
like
of those points are.
yeah, it will actually detail it. So if you don't care, you can just buy it without looking at that. But my goal would be that every phone will have a video and a written document showing everything that's been done to the phone and in as much detail as possible what condition the phone's in.
Like a story.
Yeah, and hopefully with comparison to a brand new, like what it would have been like out of the box.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Which is
guess
why
that
I probably specialize in a specific model of phone.
Here's where I think the challenge might be with that. I think it's a cool idea. I'd love to see it like flourish.
Yeah.
And not just because you're my co-host and it might result in some more funds being put into the podcast. But
what do you mean more funds? We haven't put any funds into this podcast.
I put a pop filter that I'm looking at right now. I've poured my life and soul into this podcast.
To be fair, I also bought a pop filter, so
exactly. We've invested hundreds and hundreds of pennies.
Yeah.
But like, where I think it might be a challenge maybe is that I'm going to guess that the two most popular phone models to be bought pre-owned are Samsung and Apple. And Apple, I know, and Samsung, I assume, are difficult / impossible on the newer ones to repair.
Yeah, I will not be going anywhere near Apple.
No, and I'm assuming Samsung are the same. I could be wrong.
Samsung are mildly less hostile.
Yeah.
They, at least, as far as I'm aware, don't do parts pairing.
But is it the same in terms of like tooling that you need? Do you need like really like...
Yeah, but pretty much every smartphone is like that.
But like...
Apart from
in
the
terms of
Fairphone.
Really expensive tools. Like, do you need some kind of special
You can
thing
do it
to
with
separate
iFixit tools.
Yeah, okay. So it's like, it's doable. It's just fiddly.
Pretty much any smartphone is basically, to get the screen off, it's held on with adhesive. You have to melt the adhesive and and pry the screen off, basically.
Yeah, so heat gun and a spudger.
That's kind of the standard. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
iFixit actually do a thing, a kit with basically like this. It's kind of like this sausage that has some kind of.
Sorry.
So immature.
That's very immature. Yeah.
you put it.
I was just imagining you with this Frankfurter waving it at you.
It's probably at least a foot long. You put it in the microwave, basically.
Yeah, it's a bit like one of those rustler meals that people can buy.
Yeah, it probably is one of them inside.
Yeah, put that in the microwave with your phone.
It's where your food waste goes into an iFixit kit.
Recompressed back into hot dog form.
Yeah. So you put it in the microwave, it heats up, and then you kind of put that on the phone, and it kind of because a heat gun can damage the components inside.
Oh, the microwave part was legit. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not taking the piss. This is
I was like, you just stick the phone in the microwave.
No. You stick the sausage thing in the microwave, and it heats up, and then you put it on the phone around.
Like one of those bags that you put on your joints and stuff, but like small.
I wouldn't know. I'm younger than you, so I don't have to use those sorts of things.
But yeah, like I know what you. Yeah.
Yeah, so you do that, and so so basically this is partially me kind of looking into the feasibility of doing it.
What would you call your business? That's the most important part.
I don't know, to be honest. I haven't really got that far yet. I've thought about it, but I haven't come up with anything good. I want it to be something to do with like sustainability and kind of futuristic technology. Sort of, or like cool technology. I want it to combine like nerdy technology and sustainability into kind of like techopia, or like
Techosia. Just rip them off.
Yeah, or something to do with the circular economy, or like I don't know.
You wouldn't go with like unfuckered phones or something like that then?
Yeah, probably not.
It's not that kind of brand.
Unfucked phones.
Yeah, phones unfucked, like instead of unlocked.
I did think my strapline could be Britain's B-Tech Lewis Rossman.
You need to go snappier. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not very good with names.
No, me neither.
Britain's B-Tech Lewis Rossman might actually be better.
It's not. I don't know, but I think there probably will be a companion.
The
YouTube
phone
channel.
unfucker.
I feel like the use of the word fuck is probably not a strong,
Probably a bad idea.
not a strong move.
Yeah, not gets your brand off to a bad start.
Yeah.
Right off the hop.
Yeah.
Would you start an accompanying YouTube channel like Lewis Rossman?
Probably, but yeah, it more be just kind of like I'd be basically probably detailing at first at least every repair that I do, and kind of like, hey, so this is me repairing this, and I learned this thing doing this. Basically, yeah, kind of. I kind of like my entire like goal for this is I want to do something that I feel like is missing.
Yeah, definitely, because it's like you see pre-owned phones, and I think that CEX are too broad of a seller for anyone to be. They probably have some people in there who are really knowledgeable about phones.
Yeah.
But they're such a big company that those people are so separated from the customer that you never interact with anyone who.
Yeah, I think you get the odd person. You get the odd person in store who knows their shit.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like luck of the draw, though, right?
But they don't have the resources really to like when you trade in a device, they basically send you away for an hour, and then you come back, and then they tell you whether or not it meets their standards. But that's
exactly.
That's an hour of testing for them to assess, like everything about the phone: speakers, microphone, camera, screen, battery. That's not
weird
enough.
Issues that might be
not
like
enough time.
Intermittent.
Yeah.
Like, what if the phone drops Wi-Fi every few hours? It's like not going to catch that.
Yeah, I want to like actually develop a like. I'm literally I have been like my eventual goal. Like literally, you can build rigs for testing batteries and things to actually find out what the actual capacity of them is. So I want to actually be able to, like, my ideal dream will be that I want to actually be able to say this phone has X percentage of the manufacturer claimed capacity in its battery left.
Yeah, or like you say like, oh, this phone has X% of the battery that the manufacturer claims. I bought one brand new, and actually its battery was this.
Yeah, on average, I mean, there's a margin of error. Every manufacturer will say, if you look in the small print, I think on average you probably about 95% of the claimed capacity, something like that.
And they'll probably take like 100 phones and test them all, and then pick the one that was the best, just by chance had the best cells.
I mean, yeah, because battery manufacturing is it's kind of similar to the semiconductor manufacturing. You get good batches and bad batches.
And you just try and combine the cells to balance them right.
Yeah, it's within a margin of error. You're not no one cell is going to be the same. So just like no one process. They call it the silicon lottery. It's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not quite as bad with batteries as the silicon lottery. They're generally for the most part, it's either the battery works or it doesn't. Whether with silicon, it's usually quite a broad spectrum of either it doesn't work or some degree of working. And then
or it's like a good like
that
you
determines
bin it,
what skew it is.
Or it's like you get an i3 that's been binned, but it could have really been an i5, but it was like closer to an i5 than an i3, but it got binned as an i3.
Well, basically, yeah, any given processor generation, like say AMD's
they're trying
consumer
to
range,
make the top one.
All the cores, they all have the same core in, but the ones in the lower end SKUs just aren't able to hold as high a clock speed, and then they disable cores on the die and stuff, blah blah blah, based on that, and then
I'm excited for this. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, I'm hyped for it as well. So yeah, I need to do a little bit more research and obviously buy the parts. I think like I say, now I've discovered that screen, I think I might just bite the bullet this weekend probably and buy the iFixit official part. And then I need to do a little bit more research into what display tools to get.
That's super cool, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a first for a Scrambled Checksum episode, and go for a quick bathroom break.
Oh, no worries. You're editing this one, so that's your problem.
Feel free to entertain our guests, so we can.
I'm also going to go for a bathroom break in that case.
Okay.
Ethan, edit this out.
I've just realised I forgot. I started saying this before, and
Yes.
then I pivoted. I got distracted. The slightly worrying thing about this Google Pixel is
the guy who didn't carjack you.
yes, the slightly worrying thing. Oh fucking hell! It's just started flashing the screen very white at me on the bottom. So I'm gonna turn it off.
That's the area that's not broken as well, right? The bottom.
Yeah, well, the entire thing's got a crack along it, so it's pretty.
It's on its way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, where he got in, he was like, "Oh yeah, I really like the phone, but so I've still got the contract, but so I just bought a new one." So the worrying thing there, if you didn't pick up on it, I didn't ask him.
Oh, still got the contract, so he could effectively say it was stolen and then remote reset it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you find out whether. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't technically own it.
Oh, as in he sold it
because he
but then
hadn't
if he stops paying the contract,
finished the contract yet.
Oh, so when he said he bought a new one, did he just buy one like, as in he bought one from like CEX or whatever, and then just put his SIM in it?
I don't know.
Oh, so it's like you think there's a chance that he might have just stopped paying that phone contract and then
No, I think
started
he's carried on paying the phone contract. But because he hasn't reached the end of the term, and if he got the phone with the contract as opposed to a similar, technically, until you actually reach the end of the term, you don't own the phone, do you?
But surely he'll just keep, because what's his way out of it? He's not going to buy out the contract, right?
No. Well, I don't.
It would. Your only risk would be if you just stop paying it.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but
then they'll come for him for it. Like he sold it to you.
I might have technically paid to steal a phone.
I don't think it would be. I don't think it would be stolen though, right? Because it's like he's still on the hook to make them good.
Yeah.
Like you're not on the hook in any way. You didn't do anything with the contract. Like if he stops paying his contract and they come to repossess it and he says, "Well, I sold it,"
you never know.
They're not going to come for you.
If I don't
to
turn up
repossess
for
it.
the next recording, it's because I've been taken down by the debt
Ethan's
collectors.
going to be Google's vicious debt collectors are going to come and take you away. No, I think it'll be him that's on the hook. Like if he didn't have the phone, they would just be like, "Well, then he sold it.
Yeah."
You didn't steal it from him, so they just, even if you stole it from him, it's like he's still. If you don't, I think that's how it works, right? Like if you get a phone stolen on contract, are you liable for having to replace the phone if you don't have their like insurance on the contract?
Probably.
Yeah, right. So it's like the same thing.
I mean, how do you prove it was stolen? You didn't just lose it, or
yeah, exactly, or like break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can pay because you can pay extra for like Apple Care equivalents, right?
Yeah.
And they're priced such that, I don't know, they know what they're doing. But, like, yeah, I think if you don't do that, then it's all that stuff they try and upsell you when you get a contract, isn't it? They're like, oh, do you want to get the protection in case you drop it?
Yeah.
Or the protection
I'm
in
always
case
like, I am going to drop it, but I can't afford that.
Yeah, right. Else it's like,
screen
oh, yeah, I'm
protector.
going to risk it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't have a contract phone. I just have a SIM only. But even when I did...
I've only ever had 2 contracts phones, I think.
Yeah, same.
And then,
but yeah, like I was just like, no, I like you say, it's the same position where like I can't afford to pay for the cover, so if I break it, then I'm fucked anyway. So
my insurance policy is trying really hard not to drop it and putting a case and a tempered glass screen protector on it.
Yeah, exactly. I put the screen protector on and I pray.
Yeah. I would really love to be the kind of person who could trust myself with a phone without a case or screen protector. But
it gives me anxiety when I see someone who's got a phone with that screen protector.
Yeah.
With no case, I can unless it's got a glass back.
Yeah.
But no screen protector makes me uneasy.
Yeah. It's so nice. You know when you have to replace a screen protector and you briefly use your phone without a screen protector, you're just,
it just looks flawless.
It feels so nice.
Yeah, then you're like, oh, maybe I could just do this for like a few days.
Yeah, but then the minute you leave one of your rooms that hasn't got carpet, you leave the room that has the carpet in, and you go into somewhere with a wooden floor, you're like,
or you'll immediately put it in your pocket and be like, wait, is that my pocket that had my keys in it?
Yeah. Just...
Yeah, just constantly. I always have a spare screen protector in stock.
Yeah.
Such is my fear.
Yeah, same
And like,
here.
when you drop your phone and you see the crack in the screen protector,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh god, did this go all the way through? And you're pretty sure it didn't, but you can't tell for sure.
I've had this phone for 2 years, and I'm only on my second screen protector. I'm quite proud of myself.
Yeah, I think I'm only on screen protector number 2 or 3.
Yeah. my first one
for-
only lasted. Well, actually lasted nearly. It literally was probably about a month ago that I actually replaced.
Yeah, I had like a spate of my first one had lasted a long time. Then I ruined the screen protector, and then I ruined another one again really like soon after.
Yeah, that's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, because I was like, I put one on and it was on there for like 3 months, and then I dropped it or something hit it or something, and I had a big crack across it.
Yeah. The thing I find really annoying is because I tend to buy quite niche phones. I can never find a screen protector that actually perfectly fits.
Oh, that sucks.
So, like mine, for example, I can't use one of the advertised features on my phone, which is like this edge menu thing, because the screen protector actually cuts off slightly before the edge, which means the edge of the screen doesn't actually detect your finger, so you can't. Yeah.
That's your Nokia, right?
No, the Nokia's long dead.
Oh.
Sony Xperia 1 Mark
That's
II.
what
I
I was
literally
thinking.
mentioned it earlier in this episode, Kieran.
That's what I was thinking. Sorry, I was thinking good camera, and then I thought it was Sony Ericsson I was thinking of with the camera tie-in, not Nokia.
Yeah. No, I did have a Nokia 6.1.
Yeah, that's long gone. Yeah, of course, it's your Sony Ericsson.
Traded that back into CEX a couple of weeks
ago. With a good camera.
Yeah.
No, I feel your pain. I struggle to find cases for mine more than anything.
Yeah, case is all right. I'm fine with the case on there.
Yeah, I've got the reverse problem. Cases, I had to buy my case on Etsy from a seller in Poland. I think they were just because it was like I had a choice of about 3.
Yeah. I think I had quite a large amount of choices, but most of them were shit. But this one's just like one of those rubber cases, basically, like plasticky rubber ones. So, and it's, to be fair, it looks as good as it did when I got it. It's the only case I've ever had that's kind of actually held up, to be honest.
It's held up to the rigors of being Ethan's phone.
Yeah, but it doesn't have any fancy features like a kickstand or anything. It's just a pretty case.
Now, before we close out this episode, do you want to, speaking of having a limited amount of choice and a lot of the options being shit, do you want to talk about the design software space?
Yes, let's. Please educate me, Kieran, because I am... Yes.
So, full disclosure, the software I'm going to talk about, I haven't tried it, I haven't used it, I've heard it recommended to me.
He's going to recommend it anyway, though.
I'm going to recommend it anyway, because that's what I do. But no, for anyone that's in the design space, you probably know of the pain of Adobe.
Recently been sued, apparently.
Yeah, that's part of it. So FTC have come after them for predatory pricing techniques because the price they advertised for monthly was based on you having to pay for a full year with a really hefty. So if you paid for that monthly price, but then you cancelled after 6 months, you'd have to pay half of the remaining time on your 1 year contract.
Yeah.
Even if you cancelled, which
basically means you can't cancel.
Basically, yeah, because it's you're going to pay for 6. You're going to pay for 3 months.
I can't afford to pay this monthly, but I can afford to pay the entire remainder of the contract up front. Not have access to the product.
Yeah, exactly. I'll pay. It's you've got 6 months left, and you want to cancel because your job changes or you stop your freelance work projects dry up a bit. And it's I want to cancel for 3 months. And they're like, oh, well, even though you pay monthly, you actually signed up for a year. So you're going to have to pay for the next 3 months to cancel it.
I mean, you can actually pay monthly, can't you? But it's astronomically more expensive.
It's way more expensive, yeah. I think it turns it from a $60 a month to a $80 a month, maybe even $90 a month.
Is this for the full Creative Suite? Or?
For the full suite, yeah. For the full
I thought it was
software.
More than that.
It might be. I think it might, because I think it's £50 for the full UK suite, so I think it might be $60. Could be wrong. Whatever the pricing is, it's a lot more if you want to be able to cancel it month on month. Yeah. And they don't make that clear when you sign up for it, so a lot of people have been, screwed over basically because they're like, oh, I want to cancel, thinking that they could just cancel and it would be like a maximum of like 4 weeks, but it's actually like, oh yeah, you want to cancel, you're actually signed up for a year.
So it's 60 quid a month. But then
That's for pay a year. Well, not pay a year, but you sign up for a year and you pay £60 a month.
Yeah.
I assume it'll be like £90 a month if you want to then have the option to cancel every month, which is, for most people, very expensive.
Yeah.
They do student deals, but that's kind of predatory because they suck you in with the student deal and try and get you like used to Adobe. I'm used to Adobe.
Yeah, so it's yeah, so for the cancel any time, it's £86 a month.
Which is significantly more expensive.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's software. There's no reason they have to do this. That's what pisses me off the most. There's no reason whatsoever they have to charge you that fee to exit the contract early. It's software. It costs them nothing if they just stop giving you access to it.
Yeah.
Like, what is that fee? It's just predatory, which sucks, and I'm pleased that they're being held to account for it.
Yeah.
And
I think that you should be able to buy any subscription piece of software, but without... If the subscription is purely for for the upkeep of the software, you should be able to buy it one time, but just not have access to any of the stuff that the upkeep is required for. So
or any of the stuff that relies on like the servers.
So like the online services or updates, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So like you can't use Adobe Cloud if you stop paying.
Yeah.
Or you can't use the AI features, which costs them compute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's absolute bollocks, and I hate it. And I hate the fact that software companies charge you an exit fee when it costs them nothing to just stop serving you. That their costs stop immediately, but they can just get away with it. It sucks, and Adobe are shit for that.
But
it's the same
they've been able to get away with it because they've got a monopoly, effectively.
Yeah, exactly, and it sucks because they're doing the same. I can see them going down this route. They've got their like AI features, which are really cool. They've got good engineers at Adobe, and they make cool features. But even those are going the same way, where you now get credits for those.
Oh, right.
So you can see the way it's going, where it's like you pay for your Adobe subscription and you get 1,000 credits each month for the AI thing.
Yeah.
And you can just see they're going to go down the route of like, well, now you don't get 1,000 credits unless you pay an extra fee for Adobe Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
Now as standard, you get all the apps, but you don't get this many credits.
Kind of like Apple have made it so their new AI features are only available on the Pro iPhones.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, it's fucking bollocks, and I hate it. And they're probably going to do the same, allegedly, with like you can see a day where they'll be like, oh, well, if you want to use any of the generative AI stuff, you have to pay for like the premium software and then pay for the credits as well. And it's just like, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So fuck Adobe. It's a shame because I use their software and it's good in a lot of ways. Premiere maybe not so much.
But you could use Inkscape instead of Illustrator, GIMP instead of Photoshop, and DaVinci Resolve instead of Premiere Pro and After Effects.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because I feel like DaVinci and things like Blender, they're like credible alternatives, aren't they?
Does Adobe even have a 3D modeling thing?
Not really.
So Blender's not even really an alternative. It's just like it's just a space.
Yeah, I think Blender added some more editing features to make it a bit more of like an After Effects.
Okay.
Swap out. I don't do a ton in that space, so I don't know for sure. I've not played around with Blender. But like DaVinci is a perfectly credible alternative to Premiere. It has its own bugs, but you could 100% switch to it.
I'm very happy with DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah, exactly. But GIMP was always the problem, right? It was always Photoshop. There was no equivalent to Photoshop. Like GIMP is not really a competitor. It's too janky.
It's fine for doing YouTube thumbnails and stuff, and
it's fine for certain things.
Card, which is what I use it for.
It's fine for certain things, but like it's not. It was always GIMP and Illustrator to a certain extent, and InDesign. InDesign was the other big one.
Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. You mean?
Yeah. Photoshop and InDesign were the two big ones. Inkscape, I don't really do vector graphics enough to know if it's credible. It might be, it might not be. But
I
like
mean,
InDesign,
I designed this set that you're seeing on YouTube in Inkscape.
well, what better show of quality is that? They should get that up on their website. Inkscape.
And our logo.
There you go. Inkscape superior to Illustrator in every way. I drew me and Ethan in Illustrator, and look how shit we look compared to the background. So
Yeah.
there you go. A glowing endorsement there. But yeah, Photoshop and InDesign were the two that, like, GIMP's not really. It does a job, and it's for open source software. It's very good, but it's no Photoshop. However, there is some software called Affinity, and I need to play around with it because I've not used it yet. But they have like a Photoshop alternative and an InDesign alternative that look really impressive.
You know, I said I hadn't heard about this, but I feel like I actually have now that you mention it. I feel like I watched a video on this.
Yeah, it looks like from the screenshots, it looks very similar to Adobe.
Didn't they buy? Wasn't there some controversy because they bought some app or something recently?
Potentially, it does seem to have come kind of out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but like it's very polished, and obviously Photoshop's been in development for decades. But it looks, just based on some screenshots here, it looks very similar, which is good for people who are used to the old ways. And it looks very promising. And it's like, this looks pretty credible as an alternative to Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that you'll like. You buy it once.
Fuck off.
One-off payment. Desktop application. You can get the full suite. How much do you think it costs for Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign clones? There's no Okay, so to give you context before you guess.
I'm going to quickly close the website. I was just looking at the pricing for the photo one.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked at the full thing.
So for the full thing, so you get the Photoshop clone, the Illustrator clone, and the InDesign clone. I think it looks like it based on the names. I don't know them for sure. One of them might be more of a Lightroom clone. But it runs on Mac, Windows, and iPad. Ignore iPad because that's a cheaper, separate price. It runs on Mac and Windows. It's a desktop app. I've heard from creators who I trust the opinion of that it's a credible alternative, and that you can run it with this one-off payment on as many devices as you like.
Okay.
So it isn't like you buy the license and it's like, oh, you can only have it. Adobe does this. You can only have it on so many machines. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, you've hit your limit.
Which, to be fair, I actually wouldn't hate on them for, to be honest. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, Adobe lets you have it on 2, which I think.
Because otherwise, what's to stop you literally just having multiple users on one license?
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think Adobe's limit of 2 is, you could maybe stretch it to 3, but it's like, who really has 3
a desktop
computers?
And a laptop?
Yeah, who really has like? Yeah. Who has more than 3 computers that they need, that they own and have software that they use regularly and need to have?
Well, Kieran, I've got a laptop, a desktop, a server.
It's my server. Of course, I need it to be able to run on my server.
Yeah. Did I mention that I built my own server?
Yeah, I have my own server. It's like, I've got my Linux laptop that I use, and then I've got my. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So, how much do you think for the full 3 of them? So bear in mind, Adobe would charge you, like,
well,
pricing for 3 Adobe apps is the same as buying the full package. So you may as well buy the full package.
Yeah.
So they would charge you like £60 a month forever.
I've got a feeling it's going to be something like 80 quid.
Nailed it.
Okay, I did kind of cheat because I saw that 60 is how much they charge for the photo thing before.
Well, it's actually reduced at the minute, so it's only 34.
30, yeah.
But yeah, the full thing's £80 reduced from 160.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and you get it forever.
Yeah, like as a one-off payment, like yeah, I'd pay that if it was good.
Yeah, exactly. Like I might give it a go. There's a free trial.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
And the fact,
I mean, if GIMP didn't exist and I didn't already know how to use it, and anyway, I'm backtracking a little bit now.
I'm genuinely gonna.
I'm not made of money. I'm about to splash nearly 300 quid on a Pixel screen, and then maybe and maybe balls up the repair.
But I'm genuinely gonna give this a try because, like, I don't have any love for Adobe. I don't use the AI features. I don't use Adobe Cloud. I don't have like that lock-in.
Yeah.
I do like generative fill, but like, I don't love it enough to, stick with them necessarily if this is good.
I assume Affinity will come up with some kind of alternative. They'll have to, won't they?
Yeah, the challenge with that stuff is because it relies on AI. A lot of that stuff is based on like credits. So
I guess maybe they'll have like you buy the software, but then if you want to use the AI stuff, then you pay a subscription for access to it.
Right, that is the one thing with like all this stuff going.
But that kind of
like,
stuff that kind of stuff makes sense on a certain stuff makes sense on a subscription.
Yeah,
because it's an ongoing thing that you it's not a thing that you buy once and then you have the thing. It'd be like paying for your electrical connection to your house and then never paying a monthly fee for the ongoing generation of electricity.
Or like cloud storage, right? You're like, oh, I'm paying for unlimited storage forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if you've only got a set amount of storage in the cloud, you're paying. It needs to be maintained,
and accessible and backed up.
Yeah, like the server farms use electricity. The drives fail. Servers need to be replaced.
Server has to run.
There's ongoing costs to that service, so it makes sense for that to be subscription. But if you're buying a piece of software and you don't expect to get updates for it, I was actually thinking about this earlier today. I've been getting back into playing a bit of Euro Truck Simulator 2. I bought that back in 2015, so 9 years ago. And it's had regular updates, and it's recently had quite a major overhaul in its graphical capability, with like new anti-aliasing and stuff. And it looks like significantly better.
Yeah.
And I paid 16 quid for that 9 years ago.
Exactly, and you're still getting value.
How nuts is that?
It's the same with like No Man's Sky came out and it was panned.
This is like and it still gets updates with new vehicles and stuff added into it, and like they don't just like throw a vehicle together. Like they actually like go and like have like go with the manufacturers and test these vehicles and record the sounds and how it handles and things, and like it's it's like not a. Yeah, and I paid £16 for that 9 years ago.
Right, it's like every time I start my Steam,
I would pay more. I would happily pay more for it.
Yeah, you're just blown away, right? Like every time I start my Steam, I'm like, I've got a load of games that I've bought in various humble bundles over the years, which like God knows how cheap they worked out per game, and it's like they're still getting updates for a game that I bought for maybe like. As part of the bundle, it was maybe like £2 for the game, and like it's still getting updates, and yet Adobe are here going like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the other end of the extreme. I think when it comes to games, they probably should be charging you more, but people don't want to pay more. So
it's like, why are they? It's like their own fault. They've invited all this because they had a happy little monopoly they could have kept with. I think they could have kept the CS model, and just sold the software.
And the CS model being, just for those who don't know, the old mod before Creative Cloud, basically, you had Creative Suite, and then basically every year or whatever there'd be a new one, but you'd have to buy a license for the new one, basically, if you wanted to upgrade.
Yeah, exactly that. Like CS6 was the last one, and it was great. You'd pay a lot for the software, but it was good software. And then you wouldn't get the major update when the next CS came out. Which, if you didn't want to get it, was fine. If you did, you'd pay like £600 for the new CS version.
And if you didn't, your old version would carry on working like it always had until some dependency in Windows or Mac OS no longer existed.
Usually Mac first.
Which is like, you know what? That's not really Adobe's fault, is it? You can still run the software if you run an older version of the operating system. They're not taking it away from you. That's kind of out of their hands, isn't it?
And I get it. It's like the Creative Cloud thing did work out. I think technically cheaper if you got the full package and used them all.
Yeah. The amount of people who use every Adobe app has got to be quite small.
Even if you use a lot of them.
I mean, how many are there? There's fucking tons of them, isn't there?
Oh, there's tons of them. But like, even if you use all the main ones. So if you use Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere, After Effects regularly, then like you really using them all at the same rate. The odds are you specialize in one area. So like even if you use Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign a ton, maybe you get the new version every year, but then like if you do less editing, you just get Premiere and After Effects less.
Yeah.
And then you can still get the full versions, but like, yeah, I think the subscription model could have worked for them. It's just they priced it such that, and they just became such dicks about it.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
They just became absolute scumbags with it, and they were fine because they had a monopoly, and now hopefully that's being torn down a bit, and they're getting some trouble for it.
This is how bad it is though. It actually makes like you look at Adobe for After Effects and Premiere Pro, and then you look over at Apple, who I believe you can get Final Cut Pro, which has like the After Effects component for a one-time cost for Final Cut Pro. It's like £270.
Yeah, and then meanwhile Adobe,
and then you have it forever, and like get updates with the new features forever. That's Apple. Apple do that. Like, imagine how bad you have to be be worse than Apple.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And then they've had like a bunch of the software's buggy as hell. The support shit. It's like they don't deliver a good service, really. Yeah. It's like if you ever had a problem with Adobe software, their support is terrible.
Good luck. Yeah, basically.
I've had to contact them several times for various niche bugs, and they're awful. The forums are awful unless you get a response from a community member who's not affiliated with Adobe whatsoever.
Yeah.
And yeah, they suck. So my thoughts on that are, fuck you, Adobe. Give Affinity a try if you're a designer.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a go, and hopefully I'll be able to break my,
Do you want to end on a couple of Facepalm Fridays?
Let's end on a Facepalm Friday, because
I've got
mad
two
now.
in here, one of which I can't remember the context for, and one of which is from this week.
Okay, fire away, because I'm mad now, and I need a chortle to end the episode.
So the first one was from the 15th of May 2024. I overheard on the radio when I walked through the office at work. There was a woman on the radio being interviewed because she'd set a world record for the most northerly cocktail party.
The most northerly cocktail, as in like in England or in the world?
In the world.
Where was the cocktail party?
I don't know. It just like it was a face palm for me because it's like, who cares?
It's the least relevant.
How, like, yeah.
And like, who's judging that? Who's like, oh, that's the most northerly that we've ever recorded?
Yeah, but it's a record because no one else has done it. So that's the first one. Anyway,
should we break it?
That's not a great one. No, I don't like cocktails.
I'll drink yours. I don't like them either, actually.
Well, you can't get any more northerly than the North Pole. Should we just go up there?
Yeah, what about most northerly? See, the thing is, we don't like the same drinks.
We could do literally anything else.
Would a mix of rum and cider count as a cocktail?
I guess.
Technically.
I'll get back to you on that. Anyway, I've got another one.
Yeah, what's the other one?
I've been now mocked by the same colleague multiple times. So these are both work-related things.
Yeah.
For wearing sun cream when it's, quote, only 18 degrees.
Oh my god, that's absolute... That's like... I'm assuming it's a dude, because that's like toxic masculinity at its best.
Yeah, it's just so ignorant. It's hilarious and frustrating.
So it's like, oh, what? My skin's so manly and tough that it doesn't get burned by UV rays.
Yeah, I tried to explain to him, like, it's not the heat that burns you. Like, it
doesn't make you
UV.
tough.
Like, it could be 5 degrees, and if you're in direct sunlight for long enough, you'll get sunburn.
Yeah, it's like, is he the sort of person that would go to the North Pole and not wear sunglasses because it's cold outside?
Probably, yeah.
It's like, I don't get it. What's tough about it? Like, what's macho?
Or like, he also takes a piss out of me for wearing sunglasses when it's, quote, not sunny.
It's like, it's that kind of like machismo. I'm assuming it's from like a macho thing of like, oh, I'm too tough to need.
No, I think it's from just a pure ignorance.
Oh, it's just like, oh, I'm too...
I think he genuinely thinks that sunburn comes from the heat.
It's like the infrared.
Yeah, it's like... Ugh.
That's obnoxious, because I hate stuff like that, because it's like... it's kind of like how it's how problems arise from this, because it's like people do stuff like that and then they get melanomas, for example, that were preventable.
Well, fuck them.
Just roll it out. Or like, it's people who go and it's like someone that gets a cold and then insists that the antibiotics made them better when they had a viral infection.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you just went there and lied about your symptoms or whatever.
Yeah.
That frustrates me immensely.
Or someone who went south on holiday and got a bit of a cough, but it's not coronavirus. It's just a slight chill.
Yeah, they've been to a hotspot in Devon, for example.
Yeah. It's a specific reference from Kieran's past back in 2021.
Persistent cough. No, it was before that. It was in the height of like. It was in the early days.
It was in the height of COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in the very early days. I think
when we were first. It was when you were only allowed to go out for work or exercise, wasn't it?
Wasn't it before we got furloughed though?
No, this was after. It was
after. It was when we were tentatively coming back to the office, and everyone was like.
Well, I think it was when the only reason we were in the office is because we were doing things that you could only do in the office, and
there was no one in.
And this person was a new starter.
It was very much like it was still very much at the height of like 6 feet apart. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like...
It was probably like August 2020. Something
it was like summer 2020. So, and then they were like... They'd been on holiday to Devon, which at the time had like a big outbreak.
Yeah, and she was like coughing up her lung and she was like, oh yeah, I just got to chill.
Definitely not COVID, based on like no...
Yeah, not done a test. No. It was just a chill. Like...
Yeah, she was just like repeatedly saying to me, Lisa, like, I know it's definitely not COVID.
Yeah.
Like definitely not COVID.
To be fair, neither of us then got a cough and went down with COVID. Like, directly.
We didn't, but I don't know if that's just because of the extra precautions that we took.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we like blasted the entire room with UV afterwards, and
you were pretty heavy on the sanitizer, I think, after that.
Yeah. Oh man, the old references are always the best.
But yeah, it was me and Ethan didn't get COVID, but it was that kind of similar mindset of like, it's definitely not. I know because I know.
Yeah, I just know. Like I couldn't.
Yeah, I can just tell.
Other people get COVID. I don't get COVID.
Yeah, I don't. Other people get sunburn. I don't.
Yeah, I don't get sunburn.
Yeah, have you shown them like a picture of a tanning bed?
No, that's
notice how you don't get hot inside of one.
Yeah. It's
not going to make any
cooking
difference.
You like an oven.
Yeah, do you ever notice how if you like lie down in the tanning bed, it's not like a heat lamp?
Have you ever noticed how when your oven's only heated up to about... Oh, no, have you ever noticed how when you put your heating on 21 degrees, you don't get sunburn?
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever noticed that like when you get into like a hot shower, you don't get like a burn on your skin from like a sunburn?
Yeah, it's funny that.
It's weird that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure that's different though, right? It's different.
Yeah, very different.
It's a different kind of heat because it doesn't come from the sun.
It's sun heat, special sun heat, not.
Yeah.
Do you ever notice how like when you point your TV remote at the screen, it doesn't feel, you don't get sunburned.
I accidentally put my hand in front of my remote control the other day, and I burnt a hole straight through my hand actually.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that.
Yeah.
Don't point your TV remotes directly at humans.
It was very painful. Yeah.
That's quite funny.
On that note, I think we'll wrap it up for this episode.
Yes.
So yes, thank you very much for listening, and you can find us on lots of wonderful platforms like the one you're listening to us on right now, which may be included in the following list: YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts for now, Deezer, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts.
You say Audible,
other platforms that just repost off those platforms. Yeah.
And Marquez and Wired, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah. Love you, Marquez. Good luck in the Frisbee or whatever you're up to.
Yes, and Wired, please don't start a business rivaling Ethan's one repairing phones.
Yeah. Fuck off, Wired. Get off my land.
Yeah, Marquez though, you're still subscribe to MKBHD.
Yeah, Marquez is bae until some scandal happens, and then
or until he steals more of our takes.
Yeah. Hot take. Marquez is bae. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye-bye.